This is my go-to, use it a million times, never fails, homemade pizza dough recipe. Hi friends, welcome back. It's Heather and I'm here again in my kitchen making the most delicious pizza. Now, it is about 1 o'clock on a Friday. I had one of those days and I didn't quite have time to get this going, but that is no big deal. We are going to be enjoying delicious pizza by 5 p.m. no problem. I've already measured out in my beautiful vintage bowl that I use all the time in my kitchen, and I recommend you do too. 600 grams of just plain old regular all-purpose flour. There is nothing fancy needed for this recipe. I'm gonna weigh out 2 grams of yeast, just plain old yeast from the grocery store. But a quick tip, just give it a little smell, and if it smells like a brewery, it's what you want. So we've measured out 2 grams of yeast, which ends up being about exactly 1 teaspoon. I'm gonna put that in the bowl with the flour on one side, and next I'm gonna add the salt. I have my beautiful kosher salt that I always pick up at the farmer's market, and if you haven't seen my farmer's market haul video, it's great. I'm going to do 1 generous tablespoon of salt, and I'm going to make sure that I pour that separate from my yeast, just so that it doesn't make my yeast unhappy, because we want him to rise. Next, we're gonna weigh out our water. Okay, my hand's a little wet because I had to test my water. You want your water to feel like a bathtub. So not hot, but definitely not cold. A little bit warmer, like you could sit in there and be cozy. So I am gonna weigh out 325 grams of my lukewarm water. Perfect, 325. Now, to my water, I'm going to add one of my favorite ingredients. You've probably seen sugar in pizza recipes. I prefer to add natural honey. It's going to give the yeast something to eat so that it gets bubbly and alive for the couple hours that I have, that is not a watch, for the couple hours that I have to make this pizza before we eat it. So I'm gonna measure out about 1/4 cup. Oh, he's gonna be such a sticky mess. Honey everywhere. Okay, and I'm just gonna give this a little stir to dissolve that honey in that beautiful warm water. And we're just gonna give this bowl with our flour, our yeast, and our salt a little mix. Now that that's all mixed up, I've got my honey water ready to go. I am going to de-jewelry, clear out my counter, and we are going to knead for 3 minutes. You could do this in a mixer, totally no problem. I'm going to imagine that you don't have a mixer, and I'm going to make this real easy for you. How did we get honey all the way over here? Okay, we have nice freshly washed hands. This has already been mixed up. We are going to just pour all of the honey water directly into this bowl. We'll give it a mix in the bowl just to combine it. I can never not get flour everywhere when I am doing anything in the kitchen. Okay, so in addition to being the YouTube cook who eats all the time, I'm also gonna be the YouTube cook who makes a massive mess, but I'm okay with that. Okay, now for this next step, in case you don't know, I am 5'2" and incredibly short, so I have to go get my kitchen stool, which is ridiculous, I know. Kitchen stool in hand. This will make life so much easier. I'm just going to pour this out onto my clean countertop. Get any bits that got left behind. And we've got 4 minutes on the clock to knead the dough. All of these little bits that look like they're not going to be a part of the dough, I promise you that at the end of this 4 minutes, this is all gonna come together. We'll just scoop them back up into the center and keep going and see how much it's already picked up. It's definitely getting stickier with the kneading. 1 minute into kneading, and you can see how much the dough has changed consistency already. Gosh, some of these guys are just like, must be a very violent kneader. So in this video, I'm going to make just a yummy, basic margarita pizza. I call it the crowd pleaser. Whenever I'm having a little pizza party with all of my neighbors, it's the first one I make because everybody loves it. We're almost done kneading. And now is probably a good time to tell you that again, I am Heather, I'm here in my kitchen, and I make beautiful whole foods for vegetarians and the meat eaters they love. If you would be kind enough to subscribe and like this video, it would just bring me so much joy because I am new to YouTube and I need all the love I can get. And on that note, we are at 4 minutes of kneading. Sometimes you just can't stop. Okay, we're stopping the kneading. Look at that. Not sticky, a little sticky to the touch, but not sticky. Oh, we don't need a stool anymore. So not sticky, but he's cleared off the whole counter, so all the dry bits have been worked in. we are going to put him back in the bowl. I'm just gonna cover it with plastic wrap. If your house is a little on the cool side, inside of the oven is always a good spot. If you're in a rush and you want to expedite this and only wait an hour until the next need, just turn on your oven, let it rise up to like 150 degrees, turn it off, open the door, let some of that heat out, and then put the bowl in, and that will help it rise with the residual heat. It is beautiful and sunny outside where I am today, so I'm just going to pop this outside in the sun, and I will be back in 2 hours to give it another knead, but in like 2 seconds in YouTube time. Okay, our timer has gone off. I'm just gonna grab our pizza dough. Let's give him his 4 minutes of kneading. First, I need my kneading spool. So we're gonna knead him for 4 minutes. So you can see that he's doing a bit of a tear thing in spots. But as we work him for the next 4 minutes, he's gonna get a little tighter, and rather than tearing, he's gonna start to stretch, which is great. As you know, I'm a vegetarian and I love creating vegetable pizzas for my friends and family. But what you may not know is that I'm married and my daughter are meat eaters. So if you want any vegetarian pizza topping ideas or any vegetarian recipe ideas, then don't hesitate to leave me a comment, because I will definitely take a look and I will try to come up with something delicious for you. So after this round of kneading, we're gonna put him in either the oven or somewhere warm to rise for an hour. And then I'm gonna make for you the most beautiful margarita pizza. She's a bit of a workout. Okay, we're there, 4 minutes. We'll give him a few more because I just can't stop. Okay. We're gonna pop him back in the bowl. He's gonna go back in the oven for an hour, and then we'll come back and I'll show you quickly how I form him into the final balls that we're gonna let rise up and then stretch out to make our pizza dough. So I'll be right back, but in like an hour in real time, but right back. Okay, it's our second rise. It's been an hour. Holy cow, look at how huge it is. Okay, so very last step, and then we are going to get to making pizza after our second rise. I'm going to take him out of the bowl. This is a cake scraper, but we're gonna use them to cut the dough in half. And I'm gonna give them a quick measure. I don't know why, it's just silly. That was crazy. One's $4.91, one's $4.99, close enough. To form our dough balls, I'm just gonna put a little bit more flour on my counter, and I'm going to grab the dough and squish it in onto itself. We're gonna do this step about 12 times. And then I'm just going to gather all the bottoms in and give them a good squish, flip, and a little spin. I'm gonna let them do their last rise just right here on the counter. I'm going to just cover them back up with the same plastic wrap that I've been using this whole time. I will leave them here, and in about an hour, I will be back to stretch these guys out and eat some pizza. Oh, but what I needed to tell you is, if you have a pizza steel, now is the time to start your oven. If you don't have a pizza steel, I highly recommend you get one. I'll make sure I put a link in the description box below, because game changer when you're making pizza. I'm going to do mine on the barbecue. So I found an hour is a bit too long to heat up my steel on the barbecue. I am going to give it about a half an hour. Then I'm going to turn on my barbecue with my pizza steel in it to get my pizza steel nice and hot for the barbecue pizza. If you're going to do it in your oven, put your pizza steel in the oven and turn on your oven now as high as it will go. Then the second rise, these guys have only been sitting here for half an hour because I'm going to prep the ingredients for our beautiful margarita pizza. Bench scrapers, they come in handy. So for the crowd pleaser, we're gonna make the simplest and easiest and possibly one of the most delicious pizzas you can make, the margarita pizza. From my market haul video, you're gonna remember this beautiful honey-kissed pizza sauce. I also have this gorgeous Peppino's famous spiced olive oil. Peppino's is this beautiful sandwich shop, and we love their olive oil that they put on their sandwiches. So I'm gonna put a little bit of that on the pizza. We also, of course, have beautiful basil that I just picked up fresh from the market today. I may also slice up these stunning tomatoes. Too beautiful that I just might have to use them. I also have bocconcini and the most beautiful Parmigiano Reggiano. The barbecue is ready and ripping hot. Let's make ourselves a beautiful margarita pizza on our homemade pizza dough. I just love a beautiful tomato. And this one was everything I expected it to be. Before we start stretching, we're gonna get our pizza peel. I just love this short-handled pizza peel. It is so easy to use. I have no idea where I got this one. He's been around forever, but I do have my eye on a beautiful one, and I'm gonna put the link to the description in that one below, and hopefully we'll see me get it in a future kitchen gadget haul video. We're just going to dust it with the flour, rub it in, and tap it off. Then we have a nice thin layer of the flour that will help us get our pizza off the peel. I'm going to sneak one of our beautiful guys out from under his wrapper. So I'm just gonna start by kind of flattening him out. We definitely do not want to use a rolling pin because we worked so hard to get these beautiful air bubbles in here. We do not want them to come out. We're just going to let the weight of the dough do the work for you. And he will start to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then we can go in with our knuckles and start to stretch it out that way. So I'm really paying attention to pull on the outside of this ring. I don't want to pull in the middle. I find it's quite easy to get the middle over thin and tear it. Sometimes I find it's easier just to let the pizza dough do the work for you. Here in this spot where I can feel it's a little bit thick right here, I'm just gonna go in with my fingers and convince him to do what I want. A couple little tosses back and forth. I would try to spin it in the air, but you know it's just gonna fall on the ground. I just keep moving through all of the different sort of techniques until I start to get him to the size that I want him to be. There's no rush here. This can take you as long as you want, and it's also something that you just get better at doing every single time. Okay. He looks great. Now that we've got him all stretched out, another little bit of flour on my pizza peel. We will throw him right on, and we're gonna build him on top. Now, mine's a little dry on the underside, so I'm not too worried about him sticking to my pizza peel. But you just kind of give him a little shake every now and again to make sure that things are going the way you want them to, because getting him off the pizza peel can be a little intimidating, but I promise you, do not let the pizza frighten you. It can sense fear. Just go in there confidently. He'll come right off, but a few shakes while you're building him is a good tip. So I'm gonna start off by taking my beautiful herb-infused olive oil. I'm gonna put a bit of that in a bowl, and I'm gonna just brush it onto the pizza. I'm going to get it also near the edges, but I'm gonna really try hard not to get it on the peel because then the pizza really will want to stick. I am so excited every time I get to pull out my beautiful pastry brush. And if you haven't seen my kitchen gadget haul video, take a look, because I went shopping and I bought so many beautiful things. So that was about maybe a tablespoon of olive oil. Next, we're gonna do the beautiful pizza sauce. And this is one where I stained my shirt. So we start at the middle because it's all gonna slide into the center. And don't forget, see, I might have even gotten too much. Less than you think you need is the secret here. Next, we're gonna get our beautiful Parmesan Reggiano, and we are going to put that generously all over the sauce. I mean, generously. Next, our beautiful tomatoes. And last but not least, our bocconcini. So for the bocconcini, I just give it a rip and chuck it about wherever I want it. Again, try to keep any liquid from going on your peel because that is going to make it way harder to come off later. We'll give him a little shake. He's still sliding, so we are in good shape. We're ready to go to the barbecue. Okay, we are off the barbecue, and how amazing does this look? Look at the bubble in your pizza dough that you are going to make at home. We're gonna let him cool for a minute, and then we get to do the funnest part, cutting the pizza, and you'll see why. Pizza cutting time. But first, a little bit of salt dusted over the entire pizza, served by the queen, of course, and the beautiful fresh basil. I'm just gonna do a tear and toss. This just looks delicious, and it smells amazing. Oh, there's just something about basil. The minute it gets torn up. One more quick drizzle with our beautiful olive oil. The most beautiful pizza. Let's go ahead and use our super fun pizza chopper to chop them up. I made pizza when I was 15 years old at Pizza Hut. They looked nothing like this. And the best part of the job is using a pizza chopper. This looks amazing. And I have this beautiful serving tray that I got just for putting pizza on. I use them for all kinds of things. And boom shakalaka, we are ready to have the most delicious, easiest margarita pizza with our homemade pizza dough. Let's dig into this beautiful pizza. I'm taking the slice with the giant tomato. It's crunchy. It's definitely that crispy but chewy and delicious pizza dough that we're all wanting to make. Again, I'm Heather in her kitchen. I do know what I'm cooking next, and I really hope you're hanging out with me when I do it.